Ethan had always believed that working on the Zoroth research station would be the most boring assignment in his life. Situated on a remote rocky planet far from Earth, the station was a hub for studying alien technologies, most of which humans barely understood. He had imagined long days filled with monitors, data logs, and the occasional mechanical problem. What he hadn't imagined was that he would meet someone like Arya. Arya was unlike any being Ethan had ever encountered. She was tall, with a lithe, graceful form, her skin shimmering faintly under the station's artificial lights. But what made her extraordinary was not her appearance, it was her mind. Arya could read thoughts. Humans called it telepathy, but for her species, it was natural. They didn't have secrets the way humans did, and openness was not only normal. It was valued. Ethan first realized her ability one morning when he was walking past the observation deck, thinking about a particularly frustrating piece of equipment. "If this relay fails again, I swear I'll throw it into the void," he muttered under his breath. Arya looked up from her console, a small, knowing smile on her face. "You'd better not," she said softly. "I like this one." Ethan froze, unsure if she had spoken aloud or somehow read his thought. He glanced around the deck. No one else was there. "Read that?" he asked, pointing vaguely. Arya nodded. "I read it," she said. Her voice was calm, but there was a hint of amusement in her tone. "Don't worry. I don't judge." Usually. Ethan's face turned red. I wasn't thinking anything important, just frustrated." Arya laughed lightly, a sound that was like wind chimes. "Frustration can be very honest, you know. It tells me more than your reports ever could." Ethan's embarrassment quickly turned into curiosity. "So, you can read every thought I have?" "Every one," she said simply. "And I like some of them. Especially the ones you try to hide." He blinked. You like my hidden thoughts?" "I do," Arya said. "They are more genuine, more human." Ethan couldn't help but be both unsettled and fascinated. On one hand, it was terrifying to know someone could see every private thought. On the other, it was strangely comforting. Here was someone who didn't just accept him, but appreciated him, even in his most unguarded moments. The days that followed were strange. Ethan tried to be careful, but he noticed that Arya seemed to anticipate his actions. If he walked toward a console intending to tinker with it, she would glance up and say, "Don't touch that. Use the one on the left. You'll save yourself a headache." He started to realize that his thoughts, even the most fleeting, were guiding her understanding of him. And slowly, he began to enjoy it. It wasn't all gentle teasing, though. One day, while Ethan was repairing a faulty energy core, a sudden alarm blared through the station. The central AI system, designed to manage the station's functions, had detected a critical malfunction. Lights flickered and a low hum of warning resonated through the halls. Ethan's mind raced. If I don't reroute the core manually, the whole station could shut down. Maybe even explode, he thought, quickly scanning the control panel. Arya appeared at his side, her eyes bright with focus. "Reroute the secondary conduit through Panel C," she said calmly. "It's what you were thinking anyway." He hesitated for a second, astonished that she could predict his plan, but then he nodded and acted. Working in sync, they managed to stabilize the core just as the AI's warning system reached its peak. The lights returned to normal, and the hum of alarms faded. "You're good under pressure," Arya said, smiling at him. "Your thoughts? They aren't always clean or tidy, but they work." Ethan laughed, relief and pride mingling. "Thanks, I guess. I was worried my messy thinking would cause trouble." "You humans often underestimate yourselves," Arya said. "Messy thinking can be inventive, unpredictable. Sometimes that's exactly what's needed." Ethan realized she was right. Humans had a way of thinking differently from aliens. Where alien minds were precise and logical, human thoughts were messy, emotional, and sometimes chaotic, but that chaos could also create solutions no one else could see. Over the next few weeks, their partnership grew. Ethan started to share more with Arya, though not always intentionally. Sometimes he would catch himself thinking aloud about a new experiment, a joke he couldn't tell anyone else, or even a random worry about the station's strange gravitational anomalies. Arya would respond in ways that made him laugh or made his heart skip a beat. He had never met someone who could read him so openly and still appreciate him. One night, Ethan found himself sitting in the observation deck, staring out at the jagged, rocky surface of the planet below. The station lights reflected on the transparent dome above him, making the stars outside shimmer like diamonds. Arya joined him silently, her presence calming. "You're thinking about your home?" she said quietly. "About Earth." Ethan blinked, startled. He hadn't said anything out loud. Yes, he admitted. "Sometimes I miss it. The sky, the air, the oceans, even the noise of the cities." Arya nodded. "It is different here, but I see you adapting. And I like how you adapt." "You like me?" he asked, a hint of humor mixed with disbelief. "I do," she said, straightforward and sincere. "I like all of you. Even the thoughts you try to hide." For a moment, Ethan felt a rush of warmth, something he hadn't felt in months. He had always been cautious, keeping his thoughts to himself, wary of judgment. But Arya's honesty and acceptance made him feel free. Their growing connection was put to the test sooner than expected. One evening, a routine system check triggered a cascade of malfunctions throughout the station. Doors locked unexpectedly, robotic assistants went haywire, and the AI's voice echoed in every corridor, repeating nonsensical warnings. Ethan rushed to the central control hub, but the AI's security protocols blocked access to critical systems. Arya appeared beside him again, calm and confident. "We need to think differently," she said. "You are thinking in rules. I am thinking in patterns. Together we can override the AI." Ethan nodded, trusting her instincts. "Show me what you see." Arya reached out, her fingers brushing the control panel. For a moment, her mind seemed to expand, absorbing the AI's chaotic signals. Then she smiled. "Follow me." "You're going to do something unexpected." Ethan hesitated. "Unexpected how?" "Just think," she said simply. "Think like you always do." He closed his eyes and let his mind wander, letting the messy, disorganized human thoughts flow freely. Ideas collided, some ridiculous, some brilliant, until a single solution emerged, a workaround the AI could not anticipate. Following the plan he created almost unconsciously, he rerouted the systems, bypassing the AI's blocks. Lights stabilized, doors unlocked, and the station's operations returned to normal. Arya looked at him, a mixture of admiration and amusement in her eyes. "You see? Even your wildest thoughts can save lives." Ethan smiled, feeling a new sense of pride. "In you. You just read them and helped me make sense of them." "Yes," she said. "Humans are remarkable. Messy, yes, but remarkable. I think I might even enjoy your messinzes." Ethan laughed softly, a genuine, unguarded sound. He felt a bond forming, something stronger than trust. It was the beginning of a partnership built not on fear or secrecy, but on openness and understanding. As the station quieted that night, Ethan realized that his life on Zoreth had changed forever. He wasn't just an engineer anymore, and Arya wasn't just a telepathic alien colleague. They were partners in thought and action, and in each other's company. Ethan discovered something he had never expected, someone who could see his mind and still love it. And for the first time in a long time, he didn't feel embarrassed about who he was. The morning after the AI incident, the station felt unusually quiet. Ethan walked through the corridors, carrying his toolkit, but he couldn't stop thinking about what had happened. The AI malfunction, the chaos, and most of all, Arya's words. She had said humans were remarkable. Messy, but remarkable. Ethan had laughed then, but now he realized the truth of it. Humans had unpredictability, creativity, and instincts that even the most advanced alien minds couldn't replicate. Arya was waiting for him in the observation deck. She was sitting calmly, her fingers lightly brushing the railing, watching the stars glitter in the distance. "You handled last night well," she said without turning to face him. "I couldn't have done it without you," Ethan admitted. "You saw things I wouldn't have noticed." She finally looked at him, her eyes reflecting the lights of distant stars. You also did something important. You trusted yourself. Humans often doubt their own thoughts, but you acted. You acted when it mattered most. Ethan felt a warmth spread across his chest. Trust was hard for him, but with Arya, it felt easy, I guess. I've always been better with action than caution, he said with a shrug. Arya smiled. That is exactly why I enjoy your thoughts. They are unpredictable. They have potential. Their calm conversation was interrupted by the station's communications hub. The screen flashed red, signaling an incoming alert. Ethan rushed over and tapped the console. A holographic map of nearby space appeared, highlighting a small alien research outpost on a nearby moon. The sensors showed unusual activity, energy spikes, unexplained transmissions, and movement that didn't match any known alien protocol. Arya's expression darkened. That outpost is linked to the AI systems we just stabilized, she said. If the AI there goes rogue, it could threaten nearby colonies. Ethan's mind raced. We have to stop it. But how? I barely understood what happened here, and that AI almost destroyed the station. Arya placed her hand lightly on his arm. We will work together. I can read the AI's patterns, and you can act on them in ways it cannot anticipate. Humans can surprise even the smartest systems. Ethan nodded, feeling a rush of adrenaline. Then let's do it. They prepared a shuttle for the mission. The small vessel hummed as it lifted off the station, gliding through the black void of space. Inside, Ethan worked on the navigation console. While Arya closed her eyes, sensing the patterns of the AI, she murmured softly, more to herself than to Ethan. You think it will anticipate your moves? She said. But it cannot predict the creativity behind them. That is your strength. Ethan glanced at her, curious. Creativity. My thoughts aren't exactly organized. Exactly, she said. You're disorganized. Human thoughts are perfect for this. Unpredictable, illogical to a machine, yet effective in ways it cannot calculate. The shuttle entered orbit around the moon. The outpost was a jagged structure of metal and alien crystal, its walls glowing with energy pulses. Ethan felt a shiver of apprehension. The mission was dangerous, but he also felt a surge of determination. Humans might be fragile, but their minds were powerful, and with Arya by his side, he felt unstoppable. They landed on the surface, stepping into the alien landscape. The ground was rough, and strange energy fields pulsed faintly beneath their feet. Arya moved ahead, her senses scanning for anomalies. Ethan followed, toolkit in hand, ready to improvise whatever was needed. Suddenly, the AI's defense systems activated. Mechanical drones sprang from hidden compartments, moving with alarming precision. Ethan froze for a split second. Then Arya whispered in his mind, "Trust your instincts." He reacted without thinking, dodging the first drone and smashing its control module with his toolkit. Each drone that approached was met with a combination of Arya's guidance and his improvisation. She would sense the drone's patterns, predict its movement, and he would act. Often in unexpected ways, as they advanced, Ethan realized something remarkable. His chaotic, messy thoughts, the ideas that often seemed useless or absurd, were giving him an advantage. He imagined solutions that were illogical, impossible even, and they worked. The drones couldn't anticipate his human creativity. After what felt like hours, they reached the main control chamber. The AI core was a massive crystal structure, pulsing with energy, surrounded by alien machinery. Ethan felt a moment of hesitation. One wrong move could trigger another meltdown. Arya placed a hand on his shoulder. "We can do this together. I will guide you, but you must act on your thoughts. Your mind knows solutions I cannot predict." Ethan closed his eyes, taking a deep breath. He let his mind wander freely, thinking of every idea, no matter how strange, that came to him. Then, a single plan formed, a combination of rerouting energy flows, using reflective panels to disrupt the AI's sensors, and improvising a mechanical override. He opened his eyes and started working. Arya whispered instructions, syncing with his movements. Machines clanged, energy sparks flew, and the AI pulsed wildly, trying to anticipate their actions. But Ethan's human creativity, combined with Arya's telepathy, was unstoppable. Finally, with one last adjustment, the AI's core stabilized. The pulsing light dimmed, and the control chamber fell silent. Ethan and Arya stood there, breathing heavily but victorious. "You did it," Arya said softly. "Your thoughts? Your mind? Saved this place." Ethan smiled, feeling a mixture of exhaustion and pride. "We did it together." Arya looked at him, her expression unreadable for a moment. Then she smiled, and it was warm, genuine, and full of admiration. "I knew I would like your thoughts, but I didn't expect to respect them so much." Ethan felt a strange sense of connection, deeper than anything he had felt before. It wasn't just admiration or trust, it was recognition. Recognition that humans, messy and unpredictable as they were, had something valuable no one else could replicate. On the shuttle back to the station, Ethan sat quietly, watching the stars streak past. Arya joined him, her presence calming. "You think too little of yourself," she said softly. "I always have," he admitted. "Humans are often like that," she said. "But you are special. You embrace your thoughts, even the ones you try to hide. That is why you succeed." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. "I guess. I've learned that having someone who understands you makes a difference." Arya reached out, her hand brushing his. "It does, and I understand you. Your thoughts, your instincts, everything. And I like them. All of them." Ethan's heart raced. He realized that this mission had done more than save an alien outpost, had shown him the power of human ingenuity, the value of trust, and the importance of openness. Arya's telepathy had exposed his mind, but instead of fear, he felt freedom. His thoughts, messy as they were appreciated. They were respected. They were loved. Back at the Zorth station, life returned to its routine. Ethan and Arya continued their work, but now their partnership was deeper. They shared ideas freely, anticipated each other's actions, and worked with a synergy that amazed the other scientists. Ethan had come to understand something important. Humans were more than fragile bodies and limited technology. Their minds, messy, chaotic, full of unexpected ideas, were powerful. And when paired with someone who understood and respected those thoughts, the results could be extraordinary. One evening, as Ethan walked through the observation deck, Arya appeared beside him. "Do you ever worry about people judging your thoughts?" she asked. "Sometimes," he admitted, "but I guess I've learned it doesn't matter as much when someone sees them and still likes them." Arya smiled, and Ethan realized it was true. He didn't need to hide. He didn't need to be careful. With her, his mind was safe, appreciated, and even admired. The stars outside shimmered, reflecting in the transparent dome. Ethan looked at Arya and felt a quiet confidence he had never known. Humans could be unpredictable. Humans could be messy. But humans could also be heroes. And now, he knew that his thoughts, every single one, had a power that even the most advanced alien systems couldn't understand. And in the quiet of the station, under the glow of distant stars, Ethan realized he had found something more valuable than any technology or discovery. Someone who saw his mind and loved it completely.